man. Welcome to another episode of At the Bar with Beast. Yo, I'm blessed to be here with my brother, cool dude, good guy. If you from this town, there's no way you don't know him. I'm here with my man Marky, man, CEO, owner, culture.
Peace,
Yo, we here, man.
Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Nah, thank you, man. You know what I mean? You're doing big things, been doing big things for a little minute now with the culture thing.
Just trying, you know what I mean? Like, very humbled and, blessed.
Hey, don't hit me with that. My aunt said the difference between try and triumph, just a little umph.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to the umph. I'm trying to get to the umph. But nah, yeah, started the brand during the pandemic. Briefly, like right before, COVID happened.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of uncertainties, a lot of, being scared, not knowing, the what ifs, So
let's get right into it. What made you start it? What made you say, I want to do clothing?
Honestly, I want to say since 2014, 15, I always been thinking of, extra ways to make money legally.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Coming where we're from, it's very easy to just, put your foot into different lanes, to make money and stuff like that. I had a son, 2013. I started working for Albany Housing Authority, and I just kept trying to think, all right, how can I, make legal money and do something? And honestly, I was sitting back one day. I used to always make shirts, anytime I wanted to get fly or go out somewhere, I would put an image on a shirt.
Copy.
You know what I'm saying? I would go to H&M, get a blank sweater, print it up, you know what I mean? And it wasn't until, I told a bunch of people, for a long time, I'm gonna do it. Procrastination is one of the worst drugs.
Oh, you ain't gotta tell me,
you know
man.
What I'm saying? 2019, my grandmother passed away. And I remember, yep. And I remember, me and a bunch of the bros went down to All-Star Weekend in Charlotte.
Gotcha.
And I made a sweater. And, we're out, a couple of us is, at a liquor store, was, reeing up and, before we start the night off, and I had a sweater on that I made. It was a gray sweater, and it had from the movie Juice.
Gotcha.
I'm standing in line, the liquor store down there. I mean, you could just imagine down in Charlotte.
Especially All-Star Weekend.
Oh, man, it was packed. There's got to be 100, 200 people in line. Them there, closing. So we just got there, and there was a dude from Charlotte, hood dude, tapped me, and he was like, yo, homie, where you get your sweater from? And I'm like, and at first, you know what I mean? I don't know, we ain't from there, so... a lot of people don't like New Yorkers, you know what I mean? So, I'm just
you ain't really know how to play it.
Right, yeah, and I know he can tell, you know what I mean? My accent and stuff like that. So he was like, nah, bro. He was like, yo, he's like, no, don't, no disrespect. What size is that? Right then and there, I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, you can't ask nobody no size. Your size,
What's going on? You know what I mean? But nah, he literally offered me $200 to buy that sweater off my back. I swear to God.
On the spot.
Swear to God, I got a friend to this day that was standing right there. Nate was standing right there with me. We in a liquor store. We walked out, and Nate was like, Marky, man, I'm telling you, man, that's fire. Da, da, da. And then from there, that summer I wanted to really, push the envelope. And I just was, I was messed up mentally. I won't be afraid to say that, mentally, my grandmother's passing took a toll not only on me but just the family. You know what I mean? She was a rock. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
So, I was gambling that fall of 19, going into 2020, and I think I lost $1,700 one night. Literally, went home mad as hell. You know what I mean? How. If you're a gambler, you know how to ride home.
I'm not a gambler because of that feeling.
you know how to ride homes be, you know what I mean? And literally, I said to myself, I'm like, damn, man, I just lost $1,700. I could take $1,000 and invest in some shirts. Instead of that.
Copy.
And I did it. Literally invested into some sweaters. The way my brand came apart was super dope. Shout out to Truth, Jelon Taylor. he linked me up with a female who literally designed my logo for me.
This one.
Yes, the culture logo, and it's
Dope.
a funny story behind that too. But yeah, and I like after that, man, like, you know, the summer of 2020 during COVID, it was a rough time for everybody.
Yeah, indeed.
At first, I kind of was hesitant to put out, you know, stuff because there was a lot of people that was hurting financially because of the economy and everything that was going on.
So you didn't want to feel like you was
Right, like being
digging
greedy.
further into
Yeah,
their
you know what I'm
pocket.
saying? But
Got you.
literally, man, like, I ain't gonna lie, COVID, shout out to COVID.
Shout out to COVID.
2020 was a beautiful year. Like, it was really, like, financially,
No, I agree.
you know, mentally, emotionally, like, it was just a blessed year for me and my family. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
but I agree with you. Like, even though people were financially hurting, I think it opened a lot of people's eyes to other things. You know what I mean?
Definitely
People started paying
opportunities for
attention to,
entrepreneurship, yep.
yeah, like,
Yep.
it turned the world around as far as that, as far as people creating their own lanes.
Business oriented, yep. Definitely for me, I ain't gonna lie. Like, because I caught COVID in March of 2020. So
Gotcha.
I caught COVID when things was just shutting down, you know what I'm saying? So I had to spend 2 weeks
Just thinking.
sheltered, you know what I mean? And I'm just sitting there, I'm online, I'm ordering stuff, like, and that, it really, really transcended me to a different level. And like I said, that I'm a couple months in. It's one of my biggest moments.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that summer was very, very, like, you know, it was,
And
yeah,
just, as far as the whole movement.
100%.
So no
yeah.
COVID, we might not even have culture at the level that it's at right now. It may have still came, but who knows?
Honestly, yeah, I have to agree with you. Like, honestly, like, you know, who knows? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it was still coming regardless.
Yeah.
Like, it was coming regardless.
Got you.
Uncertainty with, like, timing and stuff like that, I could say, but culture was coming regardless. Like, I was getting ready to flood. I had so many ideas bouncing around, and I still do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to juggle, you know, what I got going on in my life currently.
Yeah.
You know, with balancing a business and balancing a family.
Yep.
You know, I coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm
We'll talk
coaching.
about it.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it was coming regardless. Though.
Copy. So let's back up a little bit. Born and raised here in Albany,
Yes, sir. Yup. Born and raised Albany, New York. Yup.
and you know I know you personally, so we've talked. You played basketball at different levels. Were there any hoop dreams? Were there actually hoop dreams?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Like, you know, I went to Southern Vermont my first year in college.
Gotcha.
You know, for all the kids out there that have aspiring hoop dreams, you know what I mean? Like, one piece of advice I can give you is, like, when I went to college, I had no idea what I wanted to do, why I wanted to do it. All I knew was basketball.
Gotcha.
Like, all I knew was my dad was like, yo, yeah, high school coach, he got you here. I'm like, word? All right, let's go. Like, it's lit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not knowing what I wanted to major in, not knowing what I wanted to do in life after college. Like,
Gotcha. You just knew you wanted to go play some
right,
ball.
you know, and at Southern Vermont, I came into a great program that was already, like, on the up and up. Like, we had just won conference, won a championship, D3, went to D3 championships and stuff like that in Southern Vermont.
Nice.
Built a lot of great, you know, relationships and friendships, but I definitely had hoop dreams. I had a nasty injury in college to my shoulder, and, you know, that kind of really,
That
you know,
that shoulder,
the
he
shoulder's
weighed too much.
shoulder's
That
like
shoulder pop on
13%.
out. He weighed that shoulder pop
Right,
out.
right.
I done
That
been
kinda-
there twice when that shoulder came out, and it's a horrible feeling. Like,
yeah,
just to
that
be
is
there,
not a
you
good
can't
look.
help
It's
it,
not
man.
a good look.
Nah, but, you know, I went to Albany High and then left and came back. But I look back at the pictures of when nightlife in Albany was really it.
Yeah.
And your fashion sense was always dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
You always was putting it
You know,
together. I
like-
went back and look. Even I see you the other night at Wind Down Wednesday. You put your outfit together. I respect it. You know what I
Appreciate
mean?
you. Thank you, man.
So for you to have a clothing line, it all makes sense, man.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So let's get back to this logo. And what made you spell it like that?
Honestly, I was having a conversation with my family, Champ. Shout out to Champ. You know, before I really just, you know, said, all right, I'm doing it, We sat down, we had some drinks, wings. We went to 7-Eleven. We must have had like 10 shots of Henny, drinks, you know what I mean? And I bounced my idea. My first initial idea was kind of like far, you know, it wasn't really far-fetched, but it was like plain almost. All I knew was images.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know I was gonna be here with this logo. I didn't know what else I wanted to do. You know what I mean?
Just knew you wanted images
I
on
just
shirts.
yeah, like I wanted to. So you know what I mean? Like you
iconic. Like right now, you got the Biggie joint. Like iconic images.
Yeah, like you know, and honestly, that took a part in me, you know, naming my brand, spelling it the way I did. So to answer your question, you know, I thought about, you know, the images that I wanted to use. I wanted to use more, like, you know, there's a lot of businesses that sell shirts like this. You know what I'm saying? But it might be, you know, quote unquote, you know, TV rated, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I wanted to use more rawer images from our culture.
Our culture that really,
you know what I'm saying? That you can resonate and then you can connect, whether it's a movie, influential person, athlete, you know what I'm saying? Like a monarch and a pillar in the community. Gotcha. You know, I got some, you know, big ideas that I got coming, you know, this summer and stuff like that with guys from our area. But that's really where the spelling and everything derived from. You know, I looked at it, I'm like, we sat there and brainstormed for hours. And I'm like, he was like, yo, what about culture? I'm like, yeah. I said, but, and then we sat there and we was drinking. It's amazing what happened when you got a couple of drinks.
Because you get out your own way in certain ways.
Right, yeah, and honestly, you're a little bit more free to where, you know, your ideas are bouncing off. You might think of something that you might not, you know, not to influence anybody to drink or nothing like that, but, you know, I wanted to spell it differently because I feel like the way culture is spelled is for a different demographic. You know, a different type of person. Gotcha. You know, people that might not know what it's like to go through what we go through, to see what we see, or to like what we like and like who we like.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody doesn't like the athletes we like. Everybody didn't grow up on the athletes we like.
Indeed.
Everybody didn't grow up on the movies we like. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you said, to have juice on the shirt. Right. People that ain't gonna connect to that.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that can't connect to that. You
like
know
how we look at the Allen Iversons of the world. Like, it's people that may not see him for the way we see him.
Exactly. Like, he was an influential person in a lot of people's lives.
Braid shorts, like his style,
he transcended the NBA.
The big boogers.
Right.
So much of what he did in the NBA as far as his fashion and just how he carried himself translated to what we was doing in the neighborhoods.
Man, I remember being broke in high school. You know, my mom and dad, they tried their best. You know, they always provided a great life for me, my brother, my family. But I'd be lying to tell you that we was rich. We wasn't rich. You know what I mean? I went through the same struggles everybody else went through. But I remember having fake earrings and calling them the Allen Iversons.
You wanted the boogers.
And calling them the Allen Iversons.
You
Like,
know what I
mean? So a lot of people can't relate to that aspect of you know what we look people we look up to and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean?
Dope. So far, what has been some obstacles you ran into?
Honestly, one of the biggest obstacles for me is, and I can't use this as an excuse, is still having to work. Because I don't have to, but, you know, there's different things that you need in life now. Insurance, different stuff, you know, for your family, you know.
Those benefits.
I can't, the benefits and stuff like that. I mean, honestly, if I felt like, you know, and it's coming. I'm just going to say that. It's coming. I'm not going to speak on it. I'm not going to throw out false hopes or nothing like that. It's coming. I plan on opening a store. But my biggest obstacle my biggest obstacle right now is not being able to put 100% forth effort in producing, you know, ideas, you know, mass production. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of things that I haven't done with my brand that other brands have.
Gotcha.
Not necessarily saying they're ahead of me or I'm behind them or whatever. No competition, but just, you know, having to not having that time to really devote into your craft, to what you want to really build. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Have to be one of my biggest obstacles, honestly.
Copy. So, you know, we on Facebook, and at this point, it might have been a year or so ago, our friend Corey had put up a post saying that there was another site on Instagram that was doing similar clothing that you were doing. How do you see stuff like that and not let that deter you, not let that stop you from what you're trying to do?
Honestly, you know, it's crazy because the way our phones are programmed, like anything that I search or I frequent on my phone will pop up as an ad on your Instagram,
Indeed.
your Facebook, or whatever.
Indeed.
So for
algorithm is
for me exactly. So for me to look up vendors for clothing, fabric, picture ideas, stuff like that. Excuse me. I seen that already.
copy.
I seen that already.
Understood.
You know, it doesn't really deter me. I don't look at it as a deterrent. I look at it as motivation. Like, oh wow, man, oh they just put that shirt out. Man, I did that 6 months ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's really like, it really tells me, and it just keeps my thought process going to try to become better, trying to find dope stuff, keep putting out dope stuff, images, whether it's images, artwork, whatever. But it really lets me know that
There's a market out there for
there's
it.
a market out there for it. And my initial idea, me really wanting to do it from the jump, was God, calling for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, listen, there's a lane. You know, all the uncertainties that I had, I look at that and I'm like, oh wow, like if I would have never did this and I looked at this today, I'll be, pissed off,
sick.
or I'll be mad or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Nope, makes sense. All right, so like I said, to me, your fashion sense has always been keen. Also with the clothing line, do you have any influences, like as far as fashion or how you put stuff together? Any people you look at? Like I know, especially like in the hip hop world, Fab is a guy that people continue to see.
he was my number one guy to go to. You know, my guy. Is like, I don't know who his fashion designer is, but boy, she's good or he's good. I don't like whether it's a guy or girl, they good, man. Like, I just keep my ear to like urban stores, urban, markets, stuff like that, to see what's hot, what people have, act for, like what people, frequent to, like, also trying to create my own lane,
Gotcha.
Along the way. Just use things as, I've always prided myself never to copy, never to want to infringe on anybody else's ideas. Not saying this was my idea, because I'm pretty sure there's a million other people that have tried this or want to do it or whatever, but, do it in a way that for myself is like, all right, you thought about this.
Just
you know what
steal
I'm
my
saying?
spin.
Right, you know what I mean? So, I like Fab as a guy where on Instagram, he's a frequent, he posts a lot of pictures of his outfits when he's, doing when
Fab,
he's working.
Jim Jones.
Yeah, Jim
They done
Jones.
got Mano part of it now.
Yeah, Mano, you know what I mean? Like, Gotti.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Gotti, like he's big into fashion and stuff like that. But honestly, bro, ain't nobody really touching Fab right now. Like,
Nah, I agree.
Boy, be putting them outfits together, you know what I mean?
agree.
So for me, I kind of use that as leverage. Like, all right, gives me ideas, to try to be unique and stuff like that in a sense, but also using, certain things and images as guides along the way. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So you already answered my next question. You said you do have plans on opening a store.
Yeah,
I was wondering if it was just something you was going to keep online.
Nah, the store, like, honestly, the store is really my ultimate goal.
Gotcha.
That's my exit strategy, honestly, for working a 9 to 5.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? I have a business partner, not to mention his name or nothing like that right now, because, my grandmother always said, don't, mention things. Don't mention things until they come full circle. You know what I'm saying? Then everything.
Silent partner behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah, silent partner behind the scenes. But, my ultimate goal is to mass produce, mass print.
Got you.
We have machines ordered on the way. There's like a 6 to 8 month delivery period with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of people in this area that are starting to want to print and do that.
Yeah.
It's a great business.
And not necessarily the same thing, but just print anything.
Yeah, like my idea.
T-shirts or whatever.
Yeah, my idea, like with my store, like the connotation behind my store and the idea behind my store is bigger than just printing and culture.
Gotcha.
Like, I plan on opening businesses within the business,
Perfect.
if that makes sense.
Yep, indeed.
But, you know what I mean? Like, that honestly is on the way. Culture store is going to be on the way. coming to you soon.
Heard.
Coming to you soon. It's gonna be that stop where you need an outfit, and I'm gonna get you right ASAP, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely on the way.
So maybe not clothing, whatever the case may be. Like, what advice would you give a young, inspiring business owner in general?
Honestly, you know, with the way our city is, you know, running right now, you know, I thought about that at times. You know, trying to implement a class or maybe just like a time where I could come in and speak to high school students around the area to really, like, you know, explain to them, to inspire them to try to just do different things, man. Like, I feel like within our city, like, you know, Biggie, shout out to Biggie, you know, one of his lines is, the streets is a short stop. Either you're slinging crack walk or you got a wicked jump shot. And honestly, that bar, that, you know, that art and his lyrics, like, it transcends to our neighborhoods, bro. Like I watch kids that have basketball talent, have football talent, and don't have the right guidance, end up doing something stupid.
Facts.
You know, robbing people or dealing drugs or something like that. Like, so my advice to young kids, you know, aspiring to want to venture into this business specifically, or any business period, is to never second guess yourself. You know, there's gonna be doubts. There's gonna be bad times. There was times where I hit mental blocks, literally, and questioned myself, like, is it over? Do I push the gas to the floor, or do I hit the brake? Like, what's going on? Are they gonna like this? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that, you know, I
gotta push past.
You gotta push past mentally, bro. Like, honestly, it's just a part of life, man. And, you know, that's anything with life. Like, you gotta push past it, but just, you know, never give up. Follow your dreams, and try to be the best at what you do, regardless of what it is.
So let's talk about family, because I know family is something that's very, very important to you, man. Right now, your kid Swaggy, maybe one of the top basketball kids in his age. Like, how's that? Like, how's, you know, like, managing him being a kid and almost being a local celebrity?
You know, it's tough, especially with my son. Because me and his relationship ever since he was born was like a brother relationship, like not father, you know, father son. Like, you know, that's my son. You know, we call each other bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my guy. You know, like, that's my best friend.
Yeah, but when you talk to him real. Like, you talk to him like he
you know,
adult.
like,
like,
honestly,
you don't,
nope. You know
you
why?
don't
Because
baby talk him.
you know why, Mike? Is because, you know, I was raised like that with my dad. You know, I grew up around OGs. Still to this day, you know me. Like, some of the OGs respect me more than a lot of the, you know, a lot of my generation. You know, a lot of people respect me. A lot of people, you know, mess with me and get, you know, and it's vice versa. But the love is mutual. But like with my son, like, I kind of like transcended that energy that I was taught and that I was around coming up. You know what I'm saying? And like with my son, I don't sugarcoat nothing. You know, like I'm hard on him. I'm very hard on him. You know what I mean? Because I know
what life is going to entail,
how tough it is. I know the feelings that I felt when I hit brick walls and I ain't have, you know, a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? Like, so with him, you know, he's definitely you know, ahead of his time. But I always tell him, like, don't stagnate yourself.
There's still work to do.
Yeah, there's still work to do. There's things that I tell him about his game, and he might not understand, and I have to do a better job, and I'm learning because I'm still a dad, I'm still a learning father. I'm not a perfect father, but, you know, even with the basketball aspect of it, you know, I'm hard on him because I want him to be producing how my mind is working, not knowing that he has an 8-year-old mind. You know what I'm saying?
And,
but,
you know, you just don't want him to get stagnant and complacent and okay with where he's at.
Or what he's hearing.
Yep.
Because everybody that messes with me will come up to him like, yo, Swaggy, yo, I heard you nice, and da-da-da-da-da. Yo, I heard you da-da-da. And for a kid, it's like,
yeah.
wow,
yeah.
yo, I'm that dude. Like I gave you, like I tell them all the
So
time.
that's why I
like,
was interested in you just letting the people know like the things you do, like you said, keeping it real with them, talking to them straightforward to keep him grounded.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are the things you have to do as a parent, especially as a dad. You know, a lot of people, a lot of young men in this world, not only our city, don't have that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my friends didn't have it.
No, I didn't have it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, see, you know what I'm saying? Like, so for me to do that for him, you know, and knowing that, you know, God has put me here and God has put him and given me him as a gift to mold into the person that I want him to be, or that I want him to, you know, aspire to be. And that's just a great man, you know, a loyal man, an honest man, you know what I mean? Like, and that's in every aspect of life, whether it's basketball or just whatever.
Whatever you decide.
Whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Dope.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your wife's new job, man. You ain't think I was gonna skip out on that? Man, we gonna talk about it, man. Yeah, man.
You know, shout out to, you know, my wife, my fiance, you know what I mean, Paris. Quay, everybody know, you know, everybody calls her Paris, but you know, a couple years ago she told me she wanted to enter into law enforcement. You know, she took some tests, some state tests years ago, 10 years ago. You know, New York State was so backed up that, you know, they was finally calling people. Excuse me. And then COVID happened.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it kind of like, I'll be lying, like everything that she tried, there was an obstacle. You know, she had a tattoo on her neck.
Yep, she had to go through
it was like process. It was like inches more than what they wanted it to be. Like, she had to go through a removal process.
They were saying the tattoo couldn't come above her the collar, and she literally had like a piece of the star that tipped her. And they made her go through a whole removal process.
You know, that was a removal process to where it took up to a year for her to get, you know, get that removed.
Multiple. And
like literally to this day, like she's mentioned in the brochure of that process. You know, she ventured into Albany Police. And I say maybe 3-4 weeks into her going to the academy, lo and behold, here comes the state troopers canvassing for her. You know what I'm saying? So not only did she, I've never seen nobody endure what she endured. You know what I mean? So,
bro. To go through a complete Albany Police Academy, get out, and basically go right into the New York State Trooper Academy.
Which is 10 times worse. It's different.
I commend her tremendously.
It's different.
And I do know, you know, because she was working out with me, so physically I know she was in shape for a lot of it, for the physical part, but I know mentally they try to break you down just to rebuild you different. Yo,
man, listen, I'll tell you what, it was some rough weekends, I'll tell you that, man.
Say that.
Like, it was definitely some rough weekends, man, and, you know, during the APD process, she would come home.
She coming home every day.
Yeah, that was love. It was
cool.
I mean, she still went through. Yeah, exactly. Like she still went through stuff mentally, like, you know, emotionally and stuff like that with APD. Because it's tough. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you got drilling sergeants screaming, spitting in your face, and this is all after COVID too. So you know what I mean? Like, it's always a mental, you know. But you know, she came home at the end of the day, like with the state trooper situation. Like, she was gone for 6 months. So not only was it tough for me, you know, being a grown-up, an adult, and a man, but my 8-year-old son at the time, like, you know...
This is really his first time and his mother not there.
Listen, Swaggy is a mama's boy, bro. Like, me and him is tight, don't get me wrong. Like, that's my guy. But that's Quay's baby. Like, you can't tell her nothing. You can't tell him nothing about his mom. So it was tough. It was a tough transition. I'll be lying and say that it didn't feel like forever, the 6 months, you know, but she got through it, man. I'm super proud of her, man. Like,
and you know, from the outside, I seen everybody trying to pitch in, which was
out.
dope.
Facts,
grandparents on both sides, I seen everybody trying to pitch in, so that was dope.
You know what I mean? Jamel Hood kept me busy coaching CYO for the winter.
Copy.
You know what I mean? Because I wasn't coaching. You know, I wanted to take a step back because mentally I just was all over the place, you know, dealing with my son's emotions, you know, me just not, you know, I was cool for the most part, but it was different, you know what I mean? I'd be lying. But, you know, shout out to Jamel Hood, like, he approached me and said, yo, let's do this. And we did it. And, you know, that really kept me grounded and busy for 4 months out of the 6 to really You know what I mean?
Couldn't even
Be
get
focused. Like I like, you know, there was moments where you get home, you like,
Yeah.
damn man. But for the most part, you practicing, you going to work, and
Yep.
you know, I made it work. Like, and we made it work. You know what I mean? Like you said, like it wasn't just me. It was a collective effort. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, man.
Definitely, yeah.
Speaking of coaching, man, coaching and culture. So now culture got an AAU program. Like the clothes wasn't enough. Let's bust them in the head with some more.
Yeah.
So now tell me about this AAU program that I know initially Will Abar contacted you about it.
Yeah, shout out to my brother, man.
Talk to me about it.
You know, in the year 2020 over COVID, you know, my brother Will Abar, great pioneer in the community, great guy, businessman,
Indeed.
father, you know what I mean, you name it, pastor, you name it, man. The man is, you know, a man of many talents, you know what I mean? So, you know, we went out to lunch a couple times, and we wanted to really, you know, put our best foot forward, and he approached me with a business opportunity. Not really a business opportunity, because AAU is a business. We're not going to sugarcoat it and say that it's not. Some people do it for different reasons. Many do it to help kids and the youth, but it is a business ultimately.
Indeed.
But he approached me, and you know, at the time was the process when Quay was going through APD.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So me, like, I always been a person to pride myself on, like, all right, if you can't put 100% effort into this, you're not doing it.
Gotcha.
It's not fair to the kids. It's not fair to the parents. It's not fair to Will. It's not fair to your program. It's not fair to your brand.
Thanks.
So, you know, and at the time, it just wasn't the right timing for myself or him. You know, so, you know, I coached City Rocks for a couple years, 3-4 years. Before that, I was helping out with one of my brother's programs, 518 Elite.
518 Elite.
Shout out to Quinny.
That's actually who gave me my coaching start. Shout out to Quinny and his wife.
You
They
know
do
what
a
I'm
great
saying?
job
They do,
over
you
there
know
with
what I mean?
518 Elite. Like, that's where my coaching start.
He's definitely
happened.
helped a lot of kids as well.
Thanks.
But, you know, we had a coaches meeting for City Rocks. I want to say October.
Gotcha.
And maybe like 3 weeks later, Will calls me up again. He's like, yo, bro, now mind you, this is my brother, man. Like, you know, he used to be my barber. He just cuts my beard now. I'm bald now, so. But, you know, we went out to lunch again. Came to my office, actually, brought me lunch and everything. We sat there for 2-3 hours. And when I tell you, like, I just couldn't say no. You know, but I explained, like, as a man, like, you know, I'm a man of many things, and, like, my word is my word is, you know, all I have. You know, so I gave my word to the City Rocks organization that, you know, I was going to coach for this year, this and the third. So I'm fulfilling my agreement, and I'm still doing it this year.
Copy.
But Will, you know, outlined everything that he wanted to do, everything that he wanted to, you know, it like we both brainstormed and bounced ideas off of each other. And yes, culture AAU basketball is in their first year. I'd be lying to say everything is perfect. It's not.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
But it can't be.
first year. No, yeah.
First
like
year.
nothing happens in a perfect
Bubble.
way.
Yeah.
In a perfect way. You know what I mean? Like, there's always gonna be bumps. There's always gonna be hurdles. There's always gonna be high points, low points in between. But ultimately, I feel like this year, which we're kind of winding down the AAU season towards the end of May, early June, it's been great. You know, we threw a tournament a couple weeks ago.
I was there.
Definitely, like, the energy, the support, was great, man. Like, it really touched me to see a lot of people support us, support the brand, support the AAU organization. When we had tryouts, we had over 300 kids come to tryouts.
I actually came to 2 of the tryouts at
You
the
know,
boys
like,
club.
There was, you know, not. This is no shade or nothing like that, but there was programs that are years in the game and they didn't have the turnout, you know, and not to knock nobody or nothing like that, but to see the turnout that we had with so many question marks and what ifs, you know, going into it, you know, like it, and my brand being the name of it is like, you know, I remember talking to Will like weeks before tryouts, and I'm like, damn, bro, like, how do you think it's gonna turn out? And he's like, I got you. And honestly, like, you know, we both did our promoting. Other people, friends, family, you know, promoted for us too. And I think it's gonna be a great situation moving forward, man. Like, we actually had a conversation this morning. You know, me and Will talk multiple times a day. Every morning I call him on my way into work or vice versa. And you know, we talk about things that we need to get better at. You know what I'm saying? Things that we need to do next year, or for fall ball, or tournament. Like, you know, just always bouncing ideas to try to become better.
Just continue to improve.
I'm just gonna say this: next year, year 2, culture, AAU basketball is gonna really be on a map, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Copy. Yo, so we'll leave it there, man. Tell the people where they can find you, how they can get some culture in their life, whether it's the clothing, the AAU, man.
Yes,
just
sir.
let the people know how to get some
Yes,
culture,
sir.
man.
First of all, I'd like to appreciate you. Thank you.
Yo, man.
I got a couple hats. 2 for you, 1 for wifey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I'm definitely not wearing the. It's definitely for
that's
wifey.
definitely for wifey. I couldn't forget
yeah.
her because
you
she
know.
might pull me over one day, you know.
So as we talked about his wife entering the New York State Police, my wife is actually, for those that don't know, my wife has actually been a state trooper for over 14 years, and I don't know if saying instrumental, but she definitely helped and was invested in Quay becoming a trooper and getting that job and being focused. Like, I think they talk almost every day.
Whether you want to say instrumental, a mother figure, a shoulder to lean on, a shoulder to cry on, his wife was there, man. Like, for me too. Like, it was times where she would see me and be like, how you doing? You good? You need anything? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was very, very appreciative. You know what
All the way
like,
down to the graduation when you
wow.
hurt your back.
Yeah,
and she stood there with you
for 4 hours with me. When I hurt my back at my girl's graduation, they wanted to take me out on the ambulance. I'm like, nah, I gotta stay. She literally sat on a wall with me for 4 hours during this commencement ceremony. And shout out to her, man. Like, dope, man. But, you know, as far as the brand goes, you know, culture on Instagram is _the_culture_brand_. I use my personal Facebook to market my brand, Mark Edmonds on Facebook. I very much promote, you know, the brand on there. You can inquire about anything. I'm currently in the process of putting a lot of summer attire out.
Yeah, I see you got some new merch coming.
Yeah, like definitely new merch. I'm doing it big, man. We got men's swimming trunks. I'm not gonna do ladies bathing suits. I'm gonna stay away from that. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But there will be women attire. There's gonna be children, toddlers, infants. And I know I said this before, you know, but the timing is now, and I got a lot of great things coming, a lot of things in store. I will be at many of the pop-up shops locally. For people that are throwing up pop-up shops and stuff like that, please reach out. Culture would love to attend. The Big G Classic, Culture will be there as well. But yeah, like, get at me. I'm very, very professional, business-oriented. I pride myself on putting out a great product, whether it comes to the fabric, the appearance, whatever. You can ask about me, man. Shout out to Culture.
Yo, you heard it right there, man. Go get some culture in your life, man. Yo, once again, we here at the bar with Beast. My brother Mark, man.
Yes,
Culture.
Sir. Bar with Beast, man.
Yo, shout out to one of my official clothing sponsors, Everybody vs. Racism.
Fire.
You know what I mean?
Fire.
We here.
Peace. My God. I love you, bro.
Yo, you're ready, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.